You know, I remember the first really wonderful dining experience Roger and I went out on when we were dating was to the Charcoal Steakhouse in Kitchener. Still there, still the same fabulous reputation. One new part, though, to the Charcoal is their brand new executive chef, and he's joining us today on Daytime. Brian Surgener is here. Welcome to the area, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a month now that you've been with the Charcoal?
That's correct. Yeah.
So you're just sort of starting to ease into things and get used to the area.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with Kitchener, but...
Well, you'll love it here.
Yeah.
You'll love it here once you get here. Now, coming into a new restaurant, it takes you a little bit of time to sort of see what the history of the place is, and especially in this case because you're dealing with the Charcoal, but also Del Dante's and Martini's, which are three very distinct restaurants in the same area.
Yeah.
So it must take you some time to sort of formulate in your mind what that means to the community. And then after that, do you start looking at possible changes and things that you'd like to see happen?
Yeah, maybe just, as you said, it does have a long-standing, it's like 54 years it's been around. So it's pretty well known, and they're doing a lot of things right, obviously, if they've been around for 54 years. So I'm just there as to help maybe with the dynamics of the different restaurants and the concepts.
And just a little fine-tuning, because there are always certain aspects that you can, add to and just sort of augment as you go along.
New set of eyes.
Exactly. Right. Well, I was glad today, speaking of, new and perceptions, to see that you're doing a seafood dish today. Because the Charcoal is so known for its steaks and its ribs and that sort of thing. You sometimes forget that they've got fabulous seafood, too.
Yeah. Something that we might put on our summer menu or run as a special in Martini's.
Right.
Something a little lighter fare, not so heavy.
Well, with the weather that we've had lately, something springish, summerish, I love it. So what are we going to make today?
We're going to make a honey peppered Arctic char on a bed of lemon cucumber risotto.
Incredible.
Oozes summer.
Oh, anything that oozes summer is good by me. Let's get it started.
Okay. So we're going to start with the rice. We're going to use some arborio rice.
Arborio?
Yeah, it's Italian rice, very starchy, very thick, but we're going to try and lighten it up with lots of butter and cheese. Oh,
that makes a nice light dish. It's sort of a diet dish, ladies.
Yeah, because it's going to be
good.
Cucumber based. We're going to cook it in. We're going to use a little white stock, either chicken or veg stock.
Okay.
Today we're going to use some chicken, and we're going to cook most of the rice in cucumber juice. So to give it a nice green summer.
The green that's down there, that incredible
That's right.
Cucumber juice.
Yeah.
And that's just literally putting the cucumber through the juicer?
Through the juicer and then passing it and using it as the cooking liquid. So real natural, sort of real marriage with the flavors and the fish itself.
Okay.
So I've got some butter going here. I'm going to put some shallots. You could also use onions. We're going to sweat those off.
What's the difference between a shallot and an onion?
A shallot's much more intense, more pungent flavor. You get your flavors out a lot quicker.
Okay.
If you were using an onion, you might have to sweat this for 20, 25 minutes to get the sugars out, but this comes right out quickly.
Okay.
So I've used just a Teflon pan here. My fish has been marinated in a marinade of honey. There's mustard, chilies, some dill, little olive oil, little sugar.
Wow.
So that's going to help caramelize it. We're going to serve it with the skin on, upside down.
Okay.
Try and get the skin nice and sugary and crispy.
Okay.
All right.
With the marinade that just sort of sticks to it during the cooking process.
Exactly.
Okay.
We put it all. We allow the fish to sit in that marinade overnight, or a few hours beforehand. Doesn't matter. The longer it's in it, the more flavor comes out. But we don't add any salt to it until just before cooking. So.
Okay.
Because we don't want the fish to start to cure or cook, dry out.
So we'll get that going as well.
Yeah.
You're coming up to probably what I would think is one of the busiest weekends at the Charcoal with Mother's Day coming up. And that incredible Sunday brunch that you have on a weekly basis, it's probably even crazier at Mother's Day.
Yeah, it's we expect a big crowd, that's for sure. It's they've been doing it for years, and it's a real crowd pleaser, that's for sure.
So a good idea to get your reservations in early for that one if you're not already booked up. Stop by for that.
So now what I'm doing here, this is called toasting the rice. We're just going to move the rice around for a minute or so in the butter and shallots.
Okay.
To help stabilize the starches.
When it stabilizes the starches, what does that do for the rice?
It helps it first of all to stay together,
Okay.
and then later towards the end of the cooking process, it helps to make it creamy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna deglaze the rice now with some white wine.
All these terms I'm learning today. We're deglazing the
Yes.
rice. Okay.
Basically means lifting the flavors up from the bottom of the pan. And then,
If you go
cooking it
online to charcoalsteakhouse.ca, you can see just a sampling of their menu, or the full menu actually, on it for both lunchtime and the dinner menu. And it's so nice to see. I mean, you have the steaks there, you have the seafood listed, you have everything, the ribs, and still, you know, the Mennonite pigtails, a little
yes.
local flavor.
That's right. So now what I've done here is I've added a little bit of oil, and I've laid the fish presentation side down, which is the skin.
Okay.
I'm gonna go into the oven.
Wow.
So I just have an oven
nice.
set at 400 degrees.
Okay. And that's just going to cook away?
Yeah. It went in at a medium kind of heat on the stove. It doesn't have to be hot and smoking. You don't want to burn the skin. The sugars will
Right.
move that process along.
Okay. Rice
I'm gonna
is bubbling along nicely
Start to
there.
add some of my cucumber juice.
I have to ask, is this going to turn the rice green?
Oh yeah,
It will.
that's what we're after.
Incredible.
The reason I don't use all cucumber juice and I use some stock, through the reduction in the cooking process, it'll become way too sweet from the cucumber juice as it reduces. So
Okay.
you gotta sort of even it out a bit.
Well, and cucumber is one of those flavors that it's not overpowering, but like you said, fresh.
Yeah.
It's a very fresh flavor.
Exactly.
I love that. I love the green color of the rice.
Yeah.
I'm going to serve this to my kids. So that has to boil up for a little bit?
Has to boil, and you have to continuously add stock and juice. It's not like regular rice where you put a whole bunch of water and cook it down. You just keep adding it as
okay.
it reduces. And it takes about 15 minutes from start to finish. So we probably don't have the time for that today. So
Okay. Well, we can set that back.
yeah, what I
Through the
have
magic
is-
of television, I think we can probably show people what it's going to look like when it's done.
Exactly. I have something a little further along here.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Now this is boiled up. It's 15 minutes that it's needed to
This is
give or
about
take.
12 minutes along now. So
You can see in the pan how it's becoming a little creamier.
exactly.
Like you said, it's just sort of melting out together.
Yeah.
And yet you still see that individual rice shape with
Exactly. From start to finish, you'll need to season your rice maybe 5-6 times. The flavors keep changing. Just when you think you have it where you want it, you taste it again 30 seconds later and it's changed again. So continuously seasoning and adjusting the seasoning.
See, that's the difference between me and a real chef. When I open the box of rice and I pour it in and put the water in it, I just one easy process. That's all it is. But this is lovely. And you're starting to get that smell, that
Yeah.
really nice fresh smell with it as
Exactly.
well. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
Charcoal, Del Dante's downstairs, a little bit of a different menu there as well for people who might not be familiar with the restaurant.
That's correct. Downstairs in Del Dante, it's trattoria, very Mediterranean-like Italian.
Right.
Different pizzas, pastas, seafood and veal dishes.
And then martinis, a little bit different again, more that urban, cosmopolitan sort of feel to it.
Definitely sort of, I'd say, sophisticated.
Right.
And yeah, a great place to meet after work for a drink or a martini. And
One of the 150 different kinds of martinis they have
Exactly.
there, by the way.
we also have an oyster bar
Right.
there. And we have a chef on hand cooking different pastas and taking care of the oyster bar. So, and you can order right off the menu and kind of watch your food be cooked if you want.
So really, you
Pretty
can come
interactive.
to the whole family of restaurants and just sort of decide as you're going through the door, what do I feel like today? Something a little more casual, something a little more cosmopolitan, or I feel like a great steak or a great seafood, and sort of go into the appropriate door when you get there.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Well, it's the Charcoal Steakhouse cooking here. Let's quickly finish this up.
That's right. We're gonna garnish it with a little cucumber, diced cucumber. And you definitely need to get some lemon juice in there. It is a cucumber lemon risotto. We don't add the lemon juice till towards the end because it'll just cook up
Okay.
in the air.
This
don't
is
want-
a spring dish.
Yes, want it to have some, it gives it a nice zing.
Oh, and here's
A
more
little
of that
butter.
diet factor.
Yeah, just to
Mmm.
help bring it along. Or
Excellent.
you can go ahead and stir that.
Okay, I'm going to stir this
Okay.
for a second. We'll
I'll
take a
put
quick
a
peek. We've got about a minute left, so we'll
little
take a
tomato
quick
for
peek
color.
at that fish. Oh, you've got to ever bring out the color with just that little bit of
right.
red with the tomato.
And how about some chives for garnish?
Fabulous.
And
See, by stirring, I feel like I've actually done something to help create the dish.
exactly.
But you know, it's a great place, wonderful. Reservations always recommended because everybody wants to eat there. It is the Charcoal Steakhouse, corner of Weber and Fairway in Kitchener. Let's plate this up.
Okay, we're gonna
Still more
finish with a little cheese at
It's
the
the
end.
dish that never finishes. We keep adding
So you
and
wanna
adding,
stir
and it gets
that
a little
in there?
better. Okay.
Okay,
You've got
and
the
we
cheese.
will plate this up quickly.
I almost forgot about the fish. We've been so busy with the rice, I almost forgot about our char.
Okay,
There
that
we
looks
go.
good. Nice and soupy, saucy. The cheese sort of brings it all together.
Smells incredible.
Yes.
I'm just going to quickly plate this up for you to take a look at.
So maybe we'll just.
Charcoal Steakhouse. You can go online, get ready for Mother's Day. Always a good idea to get your reservations, especially for the Sunday brunch, and it's charcoalsteakhouse.ca. So we bring out the fish. We're going to finish plating this up. Look at that.
There you go.
And now you
See
can
the skin.
see, when you mentioned the sugars on the skin of the fish,
Exactly.
how that is all
I think that's
come
still
together.
a little undercooked, so we'll.
Brian Surgener, new executive chef at the Charcoal. We look for even more extraordinary things from the restaurant under your supervision. Thank you for taking some time on
Okay.
with us today
Thanks
on
for having
Daytime.
me.
As Brian finishes up the dish, we'll be back with more in just a moment. Stay with us.
Little balls.